so exhausted. This morning I stop at the gas station and nearly fall over because I'm so tired. And
in 1978, Thierry Sabine created the world's most extreme motorsport event, an adventurous race across the infamous Sahara Desert. Competitors travelled over 10,000 kilometres from Paris, France to Dakar, Senegal in gruelling conditions. The Dakar Rally, as it became known, quickly became the ultimate test of endurance in the world of motorsport. Over the last 40 years, much has changed. Security concerns in 2008 forced the race to move from Africa to South America, where it's still hosted to this day. The introduction of professional teams and huge budgets has elevated the race to one of elite status, where hundreds of thousands of dollars and teams of support staff and vehicles can be required to get a single professional racer across the finish line. Whilst the race may have evolved professionally beyond Thierry Sabine's original event, the organisers have preserved the original adventurous ethos of the Dakar by retaining the Malle Moto class. This is open to motorcycle racers who want the additional challenge of competing with no outside assistance and very limited equipment. They must race during the day, work on their bike at night, put up their own tent, feed themselves and plan their route for the next day solo for 2 weeks. Malle Moto is, quite simply, the hardest category and the hardest race in the world.
The Malle Moto guys for me is really the crazy heroes from the race.
Okay, you do it one day?
No, this I won't do. No. This is really it's strong guys.
They are completely crazy.
Yeah, you won't do this?
No.
In 2017, British rider Lyndon Poskitt set himself the challenge of not just completing the Dakar, but attempting to win the Malle Moto class. What makes this all the more remarkable is that unlike every other competitor, Lyndon rode to the start line from his home in the UK, a feat not repeated since the early days of the race pioneers. He rode 156,000 kilometres through 56 countries, across 5 continents before arriving at the start line in Asunción, Paraguay.
just need to get through today. So little sleep. Every night, like 2-3 hours. Always trying to stay positive, but
I wanted to be a digger driver, and obviously when I was younger my dad was like, "Oh son, you can't be a digger driver. I want to be a firefighter then," and he was like, "Oh, I've seen all the changes in the fire brigade, like you don't want to be in the fire brigade." And I loved working with my hands, you know. I remember when I was in my early teens changing my first piston on one of my first motorcycles and saying, "Oh Dad, it's a bummer, you know, can you change my piston and rings for me? I need to use my bike again." He's like, "No, you can do it." It's like, "Oh, I don't know how to do it." It's like, "Well, you better start learning."
We were quite firm as parents, discipline and that. I mean, that's all you can do with your kids is try and pass on what we were passed on from our parents. And so we did that. But it was always, where I was, it'd be, "What are you doing, Dad? And what's that for? And what's it?" Always 1,001 questions. And so I involved him. Right, well, you do this and you do that and pick that up and this spanner and just involved him like that. And so I suppose from a very young age, he was always wielding spanners, you know, so because of my involvement. And it went from there. And it's just, and I always put my spanners back, I keep the place tidy. And I instilled that in him from 7-year-old, 8-year-old, you know, give him a clipper out, look, you haven't put that spanner back, go put it back where it belongs, so I know where it is, and we all know where it is. He enjoyed the trialling, but trialling is like a relaxing weekend, it's fun and one thing and another. But once he started his further education, obviously he realised then he wanted to do mechanical engineering. Once he started doing that, he wanted to do more with the engines. Well, how can I make it go faster? How can I do this? And of course, once he started doing that, then trialling starts to go into the background. So then he's looking for another sport, and he went into, well, he tried a few, he started having road bikes, and he tried a few things, but he ended up in supermoto and built all his own bikes, built all his own engines. And I think even for his degree, part of his coursework, he did on tuning bike engines.
There was two things that were exciting to me. The RAC rally, because my dad was into rally and used to watch it on the telly, and the Dakar Rally. And it was the most awesome part about Christmas and New Year for me was the Dakar starts. And I would get this 2-week window where I'd be able to watch 30 minutes a day of the Dakar Rally.
Les dernières étapes sont dures. La fatigue commence à te brouiller le regard. Attention, tu te laisses aller.
The inaugural Dakar Rally in 1978 saw 182 vehicles start in Paris, France, with less than half surviving the brutal 10,000 kilometre race to Dakar, Senegal. Competitors were largely motoring enthusiasts, looking not for fame or fortune, but for adventure. Popularity grew, so did audiences and commercialisation. The event began to attract top racers from a range of motorsports, as well as sponsors and professional teams. In 2013, Lyndon competed in the Dakar Rally for the first time as one of 3 riders in Team Front Row GB. Supported by a team of mechanics, he finished in 46th place and achieved his childhood dream of riding under the Dakar finisher's arch.
And that was a fantastic year. It was busy, it was manic, it was stuff happening all the time. And then you get to the Dakar and my dad was my mechanic and we had a great time and we had a good race, and yes, there was incidents and everything, and we got through it, and you get up onto the podium and it's fantastic, and you hold your hands up and you have a big party and you go out, and then you wake up in the hotel room the next day and it's pretty like, okay, well, it's great, but what are we doing today? Well, we're packing the van and taking everything back to the port, and then you fly back to the UK and go into the office on Monday morning and sit in your cubicle, and boy, let me tell you, that is like a very, very strange feeling. I felt really lost, like I had nothing to do other than be at work, and it didn't sit comfortable with me at all.
With his Dakar dream achieved, Lyndon tried to get back to life as normal, working as an aerospace engineer during the week and racing in smaller events closer to home on the weekends. In 2013, he signed up for the infamous Red Bull Romaniacs, 5 days of Romanian extreme enduro racing based in the Carpathian Mountains. As part of his extensive training regimen, he entered the UK's Freckleton Half Marathon in the run-up to race day.
I wasn't feeling too well the couple of days before, and even on the morning I was feeling tired because Red Bull Romaniacs was in a week's time, and I had to get everything ready to go to this race, which was my next big challenge, including myself. But I kind of just shrugged it off and went to do the marathon, and got going on the marathon. Didn't feel too well after about 6 or 7 miles, and just thought, oh, it's okay, I just keep pushing on, it'll be over. It's only 13.2 miles, be over in no time. And then got to about 10 miles and my friend started pulling away, and I've been training with him a lot, so we'd run together. And I'm a competitive person. In my head I was just like, don't let him get away. And so I pushed harder and harder, and I was like, wow, this is really hurting. And then I tripped over a couple of curbstones crossing roads and things in the marathon, and I don't remember anything after that. And I spent the next 9 days in hospital with a suspected heart attack, believe it or not. Really couldn't get the head around what had actually happened to me. I never thought that being mentally strong and competitive, somebody would be able to kill themselves. If it wasn't for those paramedics, I probably wouldn't be here today. And it's like, wow. And that's the point where, laying in the hospital bed, looking around me thinking, wow, it was nearly all over. If I wasn't laying in this hospital bed, I wouldn't be here. And if I wasn't here, everything I've ever worked for in my life was gone. And I didn't like that. There was things that I needed to do. So I spent some days, what else do you do when you're laying in hospital, thinking about what am I going to do in my life? And I decided that I was going to go and travel around the world on a motorcycle.
Lyndon came to the office, he sat down. We'd been supporting him through his attempts. We'd been supporting him as a rider constantly since 2008, and we knew that he was planning to go and do Red Bull Romaniacs. And we'd heard within minutes, really, of this incident happening from his family, that there'd been a problem. So we were kind of following his life pretty much hourly, you know. And he was given to talking with us about a lot of his professional decisions. So when he came to us and said, I've got this idea, it wasn't, I've got this idea, we're going to do this thing called Races to Places, we're going to make a TV series, we're going to do this, we're going to put it on you. It didn't quite work like that. He came and said, I'm going to give it my job. I want to ride around the world, but I also want to go racing. And I think it was probably us that said, you know, hey, why don't we try and film the whole thing?
Fully recuperated, Lyndon left his job, sold his belongings and began to prepare to leave for his round-the-world trip, converting a KTM factory rally motorcycle into the ultimate adventure race bike, capable of travelling hundreds of thousands of miles with luggage, as well as competing in some of the toughest races in the world. 2 years into his trip, while riding through Australia, Lyndon caught the Dakar bug again.
You know, it's the start of a new year, it's 2016. I've been on the road nearly 2 years with my factory rally bike. I've been riding around the world. I've raced 4 international races, 100,000 kilometres nearly, 35 countries. And I'm at that point where I need to make a decision about which continent to go to next. And I'm going to make a decision here today. I'm going to put an entry in for the Dakar Rally 2017, and I'm going to put an entry in to do it Malle Moto.
The Dakar Rally is a massive international event, and it needs to be accessible within each of the classes. So if we take motorcycling, for instance, it's evolved into being something for everyone. You can be a professional racer and you can race to win. You can be an amateur racer and you can try and race to finish. But there are also other subtle subclasses that a lot of people aren't aware of. There are certain classes where you can't change your engine, certain classes where you can. And there's one particular class which is kind of almost hidden away because it's kind of so crazy that very few people try and access it. And it's called the Malle Moto class. Malle Moto kind of means a trunk and a motorbike. And ultimately that, together with 2 spare wheels, is a class of Dakar. You need to go to the Dakar Rally with a trunk, a motorbike and 2 spare wheels. And you have to try and finish this epic, crazy race stroke adventure without anything that doesn't come inside that box, those wheels, and your own hands to be able to maintain and fix your bike.
Thierry Sabine, the founder of the Dakar Rally, was all about adventure. And for me, riding around the world, solo, off-road, and some of the remote places that I do is adventure. So arriving at the start of the rally, like those guys that did when I was watching the Dakar when I was 7 years old, arriving at the start on my bike with my panniers on and then racing the Dakar, that appealed to me. That was exciting.
When Lyndon set off from the UK to do the Races to Places project, he chose a 690RR. It's not a standard KTM motorcycle you can buy from the dealers, it's a rally motorcycle. And Basel was designed and built specifically to take part in the Dakar Rally. It didn't exist for any other reason. But Basel's actually quite an old motorcycle now. And since Basel was built, and he has a 690cc engine, the rules and the regulations for the Dakar Rally changed. The ASO who run the event said, you know what? we're going to reduce the capacity of the motorcycles that take place on Dakar. We're going to go down from a 690cc KTM as a maximum size to a 450cc. And what that meant is that Basil's engine, although designed specifically for Dakar, was simply too big to be allowed to compete. So what that meant was he had to arrive on Basil, who in an ironic twist was designed to do nothing but race Dakar, and then get off Basil and get onto a smaller bike, which physically was roughly the same size except it had a smaller engine, and ride off on a 450 instead, which is actually no lighter, no different in terms of its performance, except the engine is smaller, has to rev harder, and will struggle more at altitude.
So we're always coming up against obstacles when we choose to go on trails like this that are not regularly run. And as you can see, you come across something like this. It's a big hole. Quite a big hole. Woo! 15,500 feet in Peru. What a fantastic place. Look at the snow around us and the mountains in the background. Woo! Simon, you gonna ride him too? Yeah. There he is.
With the rally start 3 days away, Lyndon picks up Rex's bike along with his Malle Moto box. Once the race starts, Lyndon won't be allowed any outside help to work on the bike other than changing tyres, so he makes the most of his remaining days getting his kit ready and preparing the bike.
So the bike's just having a new rocker arm fitted in KTM. I've just mounted my GPS, the speaker here, for the speeding zones and also for the waypoint notifications. Mounted that on a piece of carbon there. I've got my antennas all in here. Some people choose to put them up here, but if you cartwheel the bike, you lose everything. So I choose to have them on the handlebars here. That way, if we have an accident or a crash, everything stays safe. Verification time. Go through every check in there until I get stamps in the book and everything. Alright, it's time to find out if I've paid my bills. And these ladies are going to tell me if I've paid the bills or not. Have I paid or do I owe some money? I hope there's no more money to pay. I don't have any left. There you are. So I just dropped Rex off in Parc Ferme and here he is all ready to go. It's time to get ready for the podium tomorrow and then racing on Monday. New Year's Eve tonight, so Happy New Year to everybody. I'm super excited to get an early night. I'm absolutely exhausted. I won't be staying up till midnight. Well, maybe I'll have a lie-in tomorrow morning, who knows. But the bike's here and we're ready for Dakar 17. Let's bring it.
Each year the Dakar takes a different route. In 2017, the rally will start in Asunción, Paraguay, before rising into the mountains of Bolivia and descending into the Argentinian capital, Buenos Aires. Competitors hoping to make it to the end of the 8,782-kilometre race will need to be prepared for the extreme heat and sand of the desert, as well as the thin air, unforgiving cold and relentless weather of high-altitude conditions.
You know, the nerves only started to kick in around lunchtime today when I tried to eat something, and I just felt sick with butterflies. So yeah, tonight's going to be tough, but once the stage is rolling tomorrow, everything will be fine. This is a little bit of an emotional time for me. I sat down earlier today and thought of all the people that have helped to get me here, and all the help from my parents and everybody back home, and it really got a lump in my throat. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm doing what I love, and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna give it my best shot. And I want to thank everybody for all their kind words on the internet and everything, all the support and everything everyone's giving me. And wow, pretty emotional night. Got to pull myself together for tomorrow.
The rally is held over a series of stages. There are timed sections where competitors race as fast as possible against the clock, as well as liaison sections where speed limits and tight schedules have to be adhered to, but maximum speed is not a factor. Stage 1 will see competitors start on a short technical course through the humid sand of Paraguay.
I've worked hard for this. It's important not to screw it up. Let's go racing!
With emotions running high, it will be important for Lyndon to stay calm and settle into a rhythm. Lyndon sets off in the motorcycle category. Whilst on the course, he's racing alongside the full factory teams. His time at the end of each stage will determine where he finishes in the Malle Moto class, as well as the overall moto standings. 143 motorcycle riders start the Dakar Rally in 2017. Of these, only 17 dared to brave the Malle Moto class. It's expected that many of these riders will not finish the race.
Massive liaison this morning, 430 kilometres. That was not very exciting. Thankfully it wasn't too warm early in the morning. And then the special stage, super hot at the start of the special, refueled, and went into the special. And unfortunately for me, I was stuck behind a quad. The quad started just in front of me, so for the first, 50 kilometres, I was stuck behind a quad, and if anyone's raced with quads knows you just cannot get past them. The dust was horrendous, and just tried to stay calm and knew that to get to the end I got to stay on the bike, so that's what I did. And eventually, thankfully, there was some massive mud holes, and in one of these mud holes the quad got stuck and I managed to get past, and then it was okay after that. And the second half of the special was just wide open, like full open, 170 kilometres an hour plus. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, stayed on the bike, had a good day, and I'm here in the bivouac. So.
All competitors racing in the Malle Moto class must work on their bikes themselves. Lyndon can ask advice from anyone in the bivouac, but he's not allowed any help to actually work on wrecks other than from fellow competitors. Unlike factory riders, who have a team of mechanics waiting when they return from their day racing, Lyndon must set up his tent, feed himself, plan his next day's road book, as well as perform all the servicing and repairs that Rex requires before the next day. On a long stage, it's not unusual for Malle Moto competitors to get as little as 2 hours sleep a day. Major features of the 2017 rally include a severe rise in technical difficulty and large sections of the route being run at extreme altitudes. Organisers have plotted a route that brings competitors to over 3,000 metres for more than 6 days, and sections close to 5,000 metres. As the air begins to thin out, Lyndon's bike will lose up to 40% of its power as less oxygen is fed into the engine. The temperature will drop significantly, and weather conditions become more unpredictable. with another 10 days of riding ahead, Lyndon will have to balance his focus on speed with his need to look after his bike, his body and his mind.
Fucking hell. Not fucking stupid, motherfucker. Fucking long game. This is Dakar! Woo! I'm gonna be late for the check, but at least I'm not gonna be cold. And what? Alright, let's go! Party on, dudes!
Having taken part in the Dakar Rally in 2013, Lyndon knew how important his clothing would be in keeping him warm at altitude and cool in the heat of the desert. In the run-up to this year's race, he worked with UK-based adventurespec to develop his own clothing system based on the layering model more commonly used by high-altitude mountaineers. Dakar 2017 will be the culmination of years of research and development and the first time the clothing had been properly put to the test. Days into the rally, with almost 2,000 kilometres ridden and just a few hours of sleep each night, the efforts of riding at altitude begin to take their toll. Already, the Malle Moto field has seen competitors pull out, and Lyndon will need every ounce of effort, concentration and good luck to make it to the rest day after stage 6.
It's raining, it's freezing, and it's super slippy. We're at like 4,000 metres up here. See the water on the road. So slippery. Just really important to stay concentrated. Try not to make any silly mistakes like that. Down on power so much. KTM reckons some 25% if not more. Just keeping an eye on the road book and what's coming up. So glad I put my adventurespec liaison jacket on. It's just a lightweight over jacket. It's Gore-Tex, so it's breathable. Helicopters are out in force. Must be some action. Let's try not to make some action like yesterday, where I was completely lost.
Lyndon safely completes one of the hardest stages of the rally so far and reaches Oruro, Bolivia. With the halfway point in sight, we've just got one more night of servicing wrecks and making camp before rest day.
Just made it into the bivouac, and what a crazy day. So the stage was pretty technical and difficult, and I took it quite steady. Quite a few navigation problems today, so I got lost a few times, and there was a lot of other people lost too. But then the rain came, so they cancelled the second half of the special, and so we had to ride back on the road. And let me show you outside. This is the Malle Moto camp right now. It's a mud bath, and we have to put the tents up and we have to sleep. So Manuel, how about you guys explain to me what's going on here? Because like, what's all this?
You know, it's summer, so I'm just dressing up.
It's always hot in South America, right? What's going on down here?
Yeah, you've seen here like the whole bivouac is full of water. It looks like Venice, you know, in Venice we get the high water. Same.
Good morning from day 6. It's 6:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I can't believe it's still raining. It's still raining, it's completely mad. I am here in my tent. This is my bed, and outside people eating in the restaurant.
None of the Malle Moto competitors have been able to work on their bikes, and with the region suffering some of the most severe weather in decades, the event organisers have no option other than to cancel stage 6.
We got tyres, we got spare parts! Woo! Party on! Whoa!
Malle Moto rules allow competitors to pay a team to bring tyres, mousseurs and some spare parts. But all the work done to the bike must be carried out by the rider. The only help riders can utilise is a pre-arranged Michelin tyre changing service, but even then, it's up to Malle Moto competitor to work out the logistics of getting the tyres to the fitters in the Malle Moto camp. For Lyndon, rest day means dismantling Reg's bike, cleaning, replacing broken and worn parts, changing fluids and filters, checking wiring looms, nuts and bolts, all with the tools carried in his Malle Moto box. His factory replica KTM 450 rally bike is specially designed to be taken apart easily, but it still takes the best part of 10 hours until Lyndon's satisfied he's done everything he can to give him the best chance of completing the next 6 days and winning the Dakar 2017 Malle Moto class. The restart of the rally sees competitors making their way from La Paz to Uyuni. The next 2 days are marathon stages, which makes them the toughest and most feared days of the race for team riders. Those who make it to Uyuni must park their vehicles in a special enclosure where only the riders are allowed to work on their machines. Support teams and vehicles spend the night in a different location and are unable to assist in any way. The competitors don't have their usual sleeping arrangements, so instead sleep in local buildings close to the Parc Fermé. For the regular racers, it's a small 2-day taste of the world of Malle Moto. For the Malle Moto racers, it's a chance to race with the rest of the pack on a level playing field. Lyndon must now choose between taking it easy and nursing the bike through without incident, or using the marathon stage as an opportunity to make up time.
Check out my jacket, hoodie, I'm a real gangster. And my shoes. Yeah. typical Dakar dinner table. Some of us are eating and some of us are marking roadbooks.
Lyndon's bike has a GPS unit attached, however, it doesn't tell him where he is. Instead, all riders must rely on a road book to navigate the thousands of kilometres of South American landscape. This simple scroll of paper contains instructions about direction, obstacles, warnings, compass headings and speed zones. Lyndon reads the instructions as he's riding and uses buttons on his handlebars to scroll through the roadbook as he navigates the course, making sure his digital trip computers, roadbook and physical location align at all times. This unique form of navigation has been part of the Dakar and many other rallies since the early days. Whilst a GPS and communication device has been added to all race machinery, it's purely there to increase levels of safety for the competitors and local people. It allows the organisation to track the racers' route and location, control their speed in populated areas, and also to speak to competitors in the event of an accident.
Let's just have a quick look at the GPS here. This is the test at the end of the stage to say, okay, 100% means no penalties, and that's what I got. This is the trip on the GPS of the last liaison. Distance to waypoint, cap to waypoint, number of the waypoint, speed limit in the zone you're in, the waypoint you previously passed, the waypoint you go into, they're both 38 because I'm in the bivvy, see biv 1. Cap over ground, I'm pointing to 340, and speed over ground. And this is normally a compass.
Just on a fast, long, straight piste here. Flat out. We're just charging down this dry riverbed that's actually not so dry. Oh, so I just looked down and my fuel light is on for the front tank, so I'm just going to switch while we're going along to the rear there. So we're now on the rear tank. I'm looking at the next note, so there's a speed zone at 256.67. So while watching the road, I'm looking for 256.67, where there's a 50 zone. So there's a 50 zone here. So I'm just going to try and keep it at 50 miles an hour. 50 kilometres an hour, sorry. You can hear my sentinel beeper there. Yeah. We're looking for 710 when it 710 we're going to keep going straight. 257.10. Keeping the speed just hovering 45, 46. Stay away from that 50 mark. Don't want to get a penalty. 710 straight on, so we're straight up here. 7.43 straight on. Keeping it at 50 corners as fast as we can here. Bit too fast there. 49, 45, 4. And we're coming up to the end of the zone now. There's the beeper, and in about, it's going to go off any minute now, and then it's wide open again. There it goes, speed zone's done. .14.
What? Aspetta. Sì? Stazione is aquí.
330 kilometers from here.
Sì. Allez.
What's happened? What happened? What happened? Well, they've just given us a new road book to the bivouac. I think there's been a landslide or something, so we have to go a different way. So it means that
We're not going to show up at the bivouac till 10 o'clock tonight, and we're Malle Moto and we're going to work on our own bikes. We're basically not going to get any sleep, which is completely ridiculous, but hey, this is Dakar. We have to do what we have to do.
What Lyndon doesn't know is that the extreme weather that plagued stages 5 and 6 has made its way south. Torrential rain has created a huge landslide, wiping out several villages and resulting in many casualties and loss of life. It'll take many hours for competitors to realise the seriousness of the situation. With the day extended to 1,150 kilometres, Lyndon faces a gruelling ride to reach the next bivouac. As the scale of this disaster becomes apparent, the event organisers once again make the decision to cancel the next day's stage, this time diverting resources to help the stricken communities.
My good friend Manuel is looking a little bit disappointed with himself. Let's find out what's wrong. What's wrong, Manuel?
I break part of the rear chassis or the rear subframe.
Is it an important part?
Yeah, because it holds the tank, which holds the exhaust and the seat.
So quite important. Let's take a look. What's happened?
Practically it snapped off with the vibration and with the weight.
Ah, this bit.
Yeah, and I don't know. The thing is, to weld, I need to take off everything.
Yeah.
And like I really don't feel. I've worked enough on the bike, and 3 days left. I think I'm gonna try with zip ties, and tomorrow, and see how it goes. You know, the guy who invented cable ties is just a genius. In Dakar, you need cable ties, duct tape,
because if you can't duck it, fuck it. Where can I find the officials' tent, please?
Tent behind this.
Behind this. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to find the officials' tent because I have to explain the situation about yesterday with the speeding penalty. These are the officials. These are the people that either put us into trouble or take us out of trouble. Well, we put ourselves into trouble. They take us out of trouble. The officials come back, the jury is complete, and no speeding penalty. It has gone. 4 o'clock in the morning, and day 10, and I'm just I got to bed by midnight, just after midnight, but I just really struggled to sleep. The change in temperature, it's really warm here, and the change in temperature, I think my body was just, I don't know, it felt like something was biting me all night, so I was constantly itching my feet, my legs, my sides, my back, my arms, so I didn't sleep much at all, and I guess I'm going to be really tired today as a result, so not the best, but I was going to get up at 4:15 anyway. It was 4:45 and I was just laying there itching, so I figured I may as well just get up. So here I am, just looking for a bite to eat down at breakfast, and from here we'll try and get everything ready. Last night was a late one getting the bike and everything ready, but here we are.
Had to stop on the liaison. I'm so tired. I'm falling asleep on the bike. I didn't hardly get any sleep because noise and the dust. I need to get more sleep. It's so dangerous riding on the road like this. Oh, come on.
7,000 kilometres ridden and severe lack of sleep, Lyndon is beginning to succumb to the effects of exhaustion. The ability of his body and mind to react is greatly slowed as the threat of mistakes and accidents increases. Sitting in third place, the prospect of winning the Malle Moto class is at the front of his mind, but he's also aware that fatigue at this stage of the race has been fatal in the past. As fatigue begins to take hold, an ambiguous roadbook instruction creates chaos in the desert. Competitors ride in circles as they try to find their way, unaided by any GPS and relying entirely on the instructions in front of them and their ability to read the landscape. The situation is all the more dangerous as competitors ride towards each other at speed, a nightmare scenario that race organisers go to great lengths to avoid.
Where was the last waypoint? Was it here?
Just came over here, just a little way away from all the bikes. We're at the start of stage 11. I'm so exhausted. This morning I stop at the gas station and nearly fall over because I'm so tired. So little sleep every night, like 2-3 hours. Always trying to stay positive, but lost my balance because I'm so tired. I've never been as tired in my life. But I'm positive. I'm positive we're going to get through today. We're going to smash it. It's all going to be good. I'm just having a little bit of a moment this morning. Alright, the time has come. Stage 11. Let's go.
Completely crazy, wow. Wow, the track is really ambiguous here. Where is it going? Wow. And then slow right down because you can't see shit. Anything. Woo! My worry now is that there's another car coming and it doesn't see me. Alright, here we go. Wind's cleared it now. Oh my god. That was hard, eh?
Yeah, that is.
Oh. I have to share this moment with you. I am going to take a shower. My first shower since rest day. We've just done 6 days racing. And to say that I need it is a massive understatement. I can't wait to get in the shower. I'm taking 10 minutes to go and enjoy a shower and some clean clothes. At last.
The last road book is loaded. Take one last look around the bivouac for the Malle Moto. There's Manuel Lachase's bike, and there's Rex and Rob Van Pelt's Husqvarna. This is a really, really sad sight. It's the guys coming back on the sweeper truck. No! I cannot believe it, man.
Happened.
You okay?
The bike? Yeah. The bike don't go anymore.
It's so sad. It's the second to last day and see people climbing out of the sweep truck.
Dakar Rally 2017 has been defined by altitude, weather and the brutality of the course. More so than in previous years, competitors have been tested to the limit, many succumbing to mechanical failures, accidents and debilitating physical injuries. Lyndon's engineering background and attention to detail has helped get Rex to the final stage without drama. The physical effort of riding and working solo on the bike has brought him close to breaking. After 9,000 kilometres over 12 days, Lyndon crosses the finish line in Buenos Aires. He came close to winning Malle Moto, but in the end has to settle with second place. He joins a select group of riders who can claim to have completed the toughest race in the world, in the toughest class.
You see little bits, obviously this year with the Dakar, the hero thing, and you can see where he's struggling here, and you know, and it's heart-wrenching. It makes me emotional now, because I just know how determined he is. And there's nothing we could do here. But he's just got to dig deep, and he does. And that's what he's good at, is dig deep and just make it happen.
Hey. Congratulations. You did it?
I'm so happy. So many people have helped to get me here. So thankful that I was able to bring it here and finish and go to the podium. It's amazing. The whole experience for me has been really special. Put yourself together. I can't thank everybody enough. Everybody that's helped me. The organisation, I know they've had a really tough time with the weather and everything, and it's just amazing. All the time in the special, all I was thinking was, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Just don't do anything silly. So. Happy to have it done, but it feels a little bit like I should be doing something, because I just raced the Malle Moto and you have to do everything yourself, and then all of a sudden now it's like there's nothing to do tonight other than to party. 2017 with the weather and the climate and the altitude and everything, it was a tough one for sure. I think racing in the Malle Moto class, it's like a family, and all the Malle Moto competitors helping each other and really nice feeling. I really enjoyed it. Really special.
Thing about Races to Places was making the decision to do it in the first place. 6 months I spent miserable in my life not knowing what it was that I wanted to do before figuring out that it was Races to Places. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to ride my motorcycle around the world and race it. I mean, that's, and in that, you know, the hardest decision was to say, I have this great job with a pension and all this stuff lined up for my life going forwards. And it's great. And it can be so rewarding and everything, and I do so many great opportunities, doing so many great things with a company like BAE Systems. But was it really achieving what I wanted to achieve? No. And making that decision to leave behind something, leave behind a salary, you know, leave behind a pension, leave behind all the benefits a big company like that offers you, and sell everything. Like, sell everything, rent your house out, and just sell your cars and everything, and just go riding on a motorcycle. It's not the done thing, and it was hard. I really struggled with it until I'd made the decision.